So to add blogs to the site, you go in the back end, and there's a couple ways you can do it. There's a post thing here. You can hit add new or new post. And I'm going to copy and paste a blog in from a different site just to show you a few things. So this is the main title. It's important to have a keyword in this title. I'll actually just type in this. Messed up. Titles can be pretty long. This is a website that we do for a trucking company. Before I do that, though, you can type in your blog here, and it's recommended to do, like, I can't copy all this example, but 300 to 600 words for good SEO if you're doing it for SEO. If you're just doing it as like another area your customers can read about Missouri Land Company, then you maybe not have to worry about it. Just depends on what your goals are. So I just pasted in a few paragraphs here from another site just to have some content to play with here to show you a few things. So we have this tool called Yoast that measures SEO items. And so what it wants you to do is put in a focus key phrase. So if there's a blog you're wanting to show up for a certain keyword, then we could just do, actually, you know what, screw this example. I'm going to delete it all and just make up something for Missouri Land Company. So I'm just going to do land, just in this example for this keyword stuff. Now you can post something Google likes seeing content regardless, so you can easily just make a post and not worry about these things as well if you just want to put something out there. But for an SEO related search or campaign, if you're doing a blog to get more visitors to the site organically, I'm going to do, and you could do land for sale in each county. Like you could pick a county and write a blog about that one county. But for a broad search, we'll just do land for sale in Missouri. And this permalink, you want it to basically match. So sometimes if you don't see your title in here, you can just click this little edit button and delete it, and it'll take your title. So here's the process for the keyword. So if this is going to be our title of our post, or it could be anything, but you would want to post your key phrase into this focus key phrase thing at the bottom here under Yoast SEO. And then what that does is it tracks like that key phrase, and it wants it to be used like it's in the title. And then let's just say we have a bunch of text here. I mean, you could probably write for days about land for sale in Missouri on that one thing, but let's just say that's a good, healthy paragraph. Whoops. Paste. I'm not sure why that bolded. You can play with this. These options up here, like kind of like editing in Word. You can do center and right align your text. Things like that. You can bold it, italicize, stuff like that. So another thing that you always want to do is have at least in one more header title. So this first one's going to be an H1 tag, which you don't really need to memorize that, but it's the most important title. But let's just say this was a new subhead. One thing to do is under paragraph, you'll see these different styles. So after the first H1, which is your first header, you can put in secondary headers. and then you would type a paragraph about that header or title. Etc., etc., etc. So we'll add a bunch of things there, and let's just say you wanted to add a photo right here. Add media. Upload your photo. And then now we can, let's just say you've wrote some blog stuff. You can come down here now to click on this SEO and analysis. So this is a nice little rule of thumb. These red areas, you can kind of read through these to kind of learn what they are. But if you had an external article of a valuable site that talks about Missouri land, you could link that here. So I'll do a quick example. Not that you would ever use this, but it's just an example. Let's go to Google and just type in land characteristics in Missouri. I'm trying to find like a Wikipedia or some sort of, like, I don't know if this if you'd ever link to something like this, but it helps like some SEO. So let's just say you referenced it in a text. So you can, here's the link button, insert edit link, paste in the link. You always want to open a new link if it's an external site so that your site doesn't close when they click it. Boom, so that external thing or outbound links, I got one, so it turned green. Internal links, this is pretty easy. You can you could just highlight contact. And I would just highlight all of this because sometimes it's good to highlight keywords, and like that's what I love about the name Missouri Land Company is Missouri Land is a great keyword right there. Internal link, so click the link again, then type in contact. And it searches all the pages in the site internally. And since we have 50 pages for the, or more than 50 probably for all the county searches. Anyway, so you don't have to worry about doing a new or open a new tab on this link because it's going to just go to the contact page on your site. So we scroll down and then boom, we've got another green. So the more green, the better. It's not mandatory, but just it's a rule of thumb. SEO title width. The SEO title is wider than the viewable limit. Try to make it shorter, which that does not make sense because that is not very long. But you can actually type this in under Google Preview. So it has a rule of thumb where it takes the site title, which is Missouri Land Company - Land for Sale Missouri. You could almost just use that on several posts, but if you delete this, and then just copy in your main page title, that's usually best. And then this green bar indicates I could do a longer SEO title. Now this isn't the title that the page will show, it's just the one in the browser. And what the green bar indicator is showing, like if you get over this, just keep typing. In the red, once it shows up red, that means that like SSSSS won't show up in Google search results. It'll be just excess. So that's what the green bar is showing. And then this slug actually is the same as the permalink. So when we go to this link, it'll actually be MissouriLandCo.com/land for sale Missouri. And that's what slug means. And they like it to have like land for sale Missouri. That's our keyword phrase. They want it in the slug, the SEO title, and the meta description. And then you would write something that would show up. Let me show you real quick on Google. So this little spot here, and this is something your AdWords person put in, and like this is something I put in on the homepage of just a regular site as the meta description. So that's where it shows up. So that's where this information shows up, is that area I just showed you there. And you can type whatever you want here, make it relevant to what you're talking about. So now we're down to 2 red items, and the focus key phrase was found 13 times. That's way more than recommended. So that's because I've copied and pasted this over and over again. So this more than likely won't be there whenever you're writing a normal blog or article. But if you read these things, they kind of tell you what to do. And so the recommended is 300 words. So I'm sure you can write about this a lot more than I could to get 300 words, and that would go away as well. So basically, at the end of the blog post, if you have a right here where it says SEO, if you have that green, then you've got a pretty good article as far as the structure of it for SEO to eventually show up organically in Google and not having to spend the AdWords money for this ad right here. Which anymore, you'll probably always have to do AdWords because it's just like the ultimate way to be on top on the search page. But also, there are some people that will never click the ad. So, you still want to show up organically, which you guys do a pretty good job for keywords. Like if I just went and typed our keyword that we've been working with here, land for sale, Missouri. So of course you'll never be able to beat these organically because they're filled with content that we help them out with that content. But below that, I mean, you're pretty far up below all this crap. Just for that thing or that keyword. So I think you could, and you're probably already thinking this, capitalize on articles in different counties of Missouri, different cities. That could be a keyword phrase. So on that phrase, we don't show up until the very bottom of the ad. So that's a great keyword phrase to work on to get that organically to show up. So you could write all about Benton County. Another good thing to link to would be sites like, this site. You could easily make a keyword for Benton County, that's Minnesota, but you know what I mean, link it here. And then that's not linking to a competitor, it's linking to a site that gets quite a bit of traffic, and doing that will definitely help in some fashion along the way with SEO. But so you could link here, you could link to the Warsaw website if you wanted to write about property in Warsaw. You could link to city's Chamber of Commerce's and things like that for external links. But anyway, and then here's some other items. Should almost broke this up into different videos, but hey, it's only 13 minutes. Surely you can watch it and pause it and watch it and pause it. But you can save a draft several times as you're working on a new blog or article or post, whatever you want to call it. There's a lot of other stuff here that you don't really need, because the simple articles, the simple the better with images. Oh, another thing I wanted to show you is under the Google preview, or actually the analysis. So where is images? Good job, image key phrase. Good job. What is that? And you can also click to read more about several things. But so alt text and title text for images. So if you go to the image and click edit, you'll see this alternative text. So what that really is like if there's a blind person viewing a site with a reader that speaks to you and things like that, it would tell the user a description of the image, which is, I always just use keywords. Missouri, land for sale. And this alternative text area. And that is what that means down here where it says image key phrase. It's basically like another keyword in the image. And that also adds SEO value. I'm going to put like another paragraph. If you're going to put another image, it's just say of, one of your property images you have, like an aerial or something. You could go to add media and actually go to upload, select files. I'm on my second cup of coffee, so I'm stuttering. I need to slow down on my caffeine. I'm just going to upload a random image I have on my desktop. And you can reuse several of these images too, like any of these header images we have, you can post those in there. But when you first upload an image, there's an alt text area right here. And you can do a keyword and maybe a more of an image descriptor. Dash interior home shot or whatever. And then if you just click anywhere like another field, you'll see the spinning wheel and it saves it. So insert that. You can also play with different sizing and alignment, like here's the center of the image. You can also do right align and then drag the image like up left of text and it'll go to the right of text. Generally it's just the best, most consistent thing to do is just keep them centered. And you can also make the image smaller by clicking over here, make a smaller image. And then I recommend not uploading anything larger than like 1200 pixels wide. However, if you do upload a giant image, like I'm just going to take a screenshot of this whole browser window and it'll be quite large. And I'll upload it. So this image is taking a minute to upload because it's pretty big. It's not optimized. Come on. Well, wait, I'm going to delete this one. And I can delete these old map images. While I'm in here, do a little optimizing. Come on, that's taking forever. Probably delete all those images, but I might have them. They might be used somewhere. Anyway, come on. So this will be, typically it'll happen if you upload a large image. I'm going to pause it. Okay, so put your alt tag in, land for sale, Missouri. It's okay if you always just use that too. Let's just pretend like I typed the whole thing. You can also do a title. You can title an image which doesn't show up in the post. If you do something in caption, it will, but anyway, so pretty much like if you do upload a large image and you can't size it down, and this could be much bigger than, always change it from full size to large, and that, because WordPress automatically like does a couple image sizes and optimizes it. So you just want to use the large. Okay, a couple other things. If you were going to post your blog on social media, Facebook, a lot of times it'll just pick up the first image, but say you don't want that, you can select a different image here. And then that'll be what shows up when you post it to Facebook or like through a text or Google. You don't really need to worry about these things. It's just going to do your blog title, so you don't really have to change that. Other thing is you can schedule it to post at a later date. So I could say June or March 28th and hit OK, and it'll just automatically publish on the site then. Then you can hit schedule. And then you can always edit this and change it to a different date, or just put today's date. You can hit preview to like see what it's going to look like before you publish it. And oh, one of the other big things I need to show you is that you would select the Missouri Land Company blog category, and I'll go ahead and hit update like you published it now. Or actually, I'll change this from the schedule to like 21, and then put publish, and that'll actually make it live on the site, which I'll remove it immediately, but just to show you. And then once you get an actual blog done and published, so you can click view post here, and it'll show you your blog. And then this will say, you know, your name. And then I could also get once you start getting a few undergoing, I can update your profile image to your photo, which would be pretty neat to see there. And then I will need to make a blog page that will house these, so we can do that later once you get one going. All links will be orange, so that's kind of cool. And then there's the share button that people can click to share on their own Instagram, or, well, that's LinkedIn, Facebook, or Twitter. Another thing is if we wanted something in place of this black bar for this single post. Oh, actually, I think we might add a featured image. And if that works, then I'll show you how to do that, which is down here. Let me just update that and view this page. I know it probably seems tough to follow this video clicking around quickly. So you can always use or not always, I guess you always should use the featured image block down here on the bottom right. And this will be like the first image that shows up, and it adds it to the background and shows the text here, which is kind of cool for that title. And then it would say by Pamela Dempsey. And then we'll see how it goes. I may end up disabling comments because usually that's only spam. But then again, if we do actually get users commenting, that would be pretty cool. But we'll see how that goes. So these are the basics. Actually, it's much more than basic because of the whole SEO thing. But you can, if you just have a paragraph that you want to like just put out there and not worried about SEO, you can disregard all this stuff and just start typing, put some images in, select it on the Missouri Land Company blog category. And then in the future, 2 years from now, if you've got a blog every month, we can always add different categories and make it more robust. But for our start, we'll just use the category Missouri Land Company blog. You can also add in different tags. They're not actual keywords, but within like the WordPress network, it could show up. So you could type a few keywords here and add a whole bunch of things there for what you're talking about. It's definitely doesn't hurt anything, but it actually doesn't add keywords to anything. Nowadays, Google has really went to this model of this structure here for for SEO. Another thing to mention about tags. Once you have several blogs and we have a blog page, I can create a tag cloud that on the right side, like on the sidebar, eventually we'll have a area with different tags so that users could see that and click on something quickly to get to maybe you tagged Benton County and they want to read about Benton County, they could click something on the right. But we won't worry about that until like we have like 5 blogs or more. But every time you make any kind of change, you just come up and hit update here, and it'll change it on the site. Sorry for the boring video. My voice is probably putting you to sleep. But I think if you just watched it once and did it along with me, if you had 2 monitors, I think you'd probably only need to watch it like once. So sorry it ended up being 25 minutes, but here we go. Thanks for watching.